This movie is absolutely amazing. And here's why I think you should watch it. After watching Avatar 2 with some friends, I got on Twitter and checked what most people thought about the movie, you know? And like I saw some positive tweets, some negative ones. People thought it was gonna bomb for some reason, which that did not age well. But I saw this tweet. Imagine taking over a decade to make a sequel just to get beat by Puss in Boots. I know Rotten Tomato scores are not the best way to tell if a movie is good or not, but both the critics and the average viewer rated this above 90%. So I had to watch it. I texted a friend, dude, we gotta watch Puss in Boots, and he just went, aight. We pulled up to the movie theater, bought our tickets, and when we got to the room, we got the smallest screening room they had. And you know that feeling when you're trying to decide where you're gonna sit, and everyone's just staring at you from their seat? And it was especially awkward because there was like 6 of us in that room. There was like direct eye contact. It wasn't a bad experience though, because it's just the contrast between that and the experience I had with Avatar is massive, alright? I saw that shit in 3D, high frame rate, IMAX with reclining seats and the biggest screen I've ever seen in my life. But anyway, the movie started and about 20 minutes in, I just went, damn, this movie goes hard. Every single aspect of this movie is just so good. The story is great and gives so much depth to each of the characters. The voice acting is overall really good and the cast is amazing. Like, they make each of their characters lovable. Apart from Jack, I don't think there's anything redeemable about that guy.
You're not gonna shoot a puppy, are you, Jack?
Yeah, in the face. Why?
The soundtrack is so good, every moment feels so epic, and my personal favorite has to be the theme they used for Death. God, that whistling just sends chills down my spine. It's so good. But don't get me started on the animation. I haven't watched a DreamWorks movie since like Boss Baby.
God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
So before watching Puss in Boots, I wasn't aware of the changes they've made recently to their style of animation. They used a mix of the classic DreamWorks CGI we're used to, and they also took inspiration from Spider-Verse and hand-drawn styles of animation. I absolutely love how they mixed the two styles together. They used their iconic style for when scenes had close-up shots, for when you need to see facial expressions and stuff. But every time you could see the frame dropping on a character, you just knew shit was about to go down. Usually, movies are shot in 24 frames per second, which gives it that cinematic look, even though technology is way more than good enough at this point to shoot way higher frames. 24 is just the sweet spot for movies and especially for animation. What I mean by frames dropping on a character, I mean their movements dropping to 12 frames per second. This is called animating on twos, and it basically makes the movement feel intentionally choppy and gives every movement so much emphasis and punch. There's this Noodle guy that made a great video on frame rate in animation, and it's an amazing video. I highly recommend you check it out. Even if you don't have any interest in animation, it's still really cool to learn about that stuff. Apparently it's not the first time that they use this kind of animation, because the Bad Guys, which I didn't know was from DreamWorks to be honest, was entirely made in that Spider-Verse style. Now I know Spider-Verse did not invent that style, but I don't know shit about animating, so it's just easier for me to refer to it as that. I did see months ago something about DreamWorks exploring new styles of animation for Kung Fu Panda 4, but I had no clue they already started making changes. Joel Crawford, the guy that made this movie, is also directing Kung Fu Panda 4. This news and the way the action looked with this new style is just making me even more hyped for the future of DreamWorks. I made this video because I think you should watch Puss in Boots before it leaves the theater, and if you're watching this in the future, give it a watch anyway on whatever streaming service it's on. I think we're at a point where technology doesn't limit the CGI needed for movies anymore, and apart from realistic human faces, there isn't anything super challenging for animators. So they can just flex their muscles and go crazy with different types of styles like these, and I'm here for it. I'm super excited for the next Kung Fu Panda movie and also the next Spider-Verse movie. I think it's a great time right now to be a fan of animation, and if I had to give Puss in Boots a rating, my rating would be Thank you for watching till the end. It really means a lot. And I am planning on making more videos because they're just really fun to make. So if you want to see my future videos pop up in your recommended feed, you should subscribe. Anyway, see you.